Alright guys, so video 4 of the series that I'm doing of why I left my company driving job and came over here to hotshot trucking. It's been a crazy ride actually. There's a lot that's gone on, a lot of stuff that's happened not in my favor, not on my own accord per se, but more along the lines of getting on with Landstar has been quite the challenge through the qualification center. I'll give you guys a rundown of that. So the 29th of October, I was told, go ahead, quit your job, you're good to go. Get up here, you'll have orientation that next Monday or Tuesday. So I was like, all right, cool. Put my notice in that, on the 29th, I believe it was a Thursday. Got my plane ticket and everything ready to fly out on Saturday. And then had a representative call me on Friday after I had all this set up. And they told me that it probably wouldn't be Monday and Tuesday orientation, it'd be Wednesday or Thursday. Which was like, all right, whatever. A little bummed about, but not a big deal. So I fly out to Wisconsin. That's where my business partner relocated. And I left the truck up there and just flew home because I didn't want to do a 24-hour drive back and then have to turn around and go back to my company driving job. So, long story short, fly there, get the truck and trailer ready, go over a few more things, add some more equipment, yada yada. And then I'm like, you know what I should call? I need to call the qualification department. And they were like, well, your drug test is expired. So we weren't able to get you qualified. We need you to retake a drug test. And so from that point in time, I was like, you know what, I need to talk to somebody higher up. Contacted somebody outside of the qualification department, which, mind you, the qualification department has a lot going on. I can be empathetic that way, but there is a lot of miscommunication. I went through probably 4 or 5 different processors. My initial application went in, I believe it was September either 21st. Yeah, September 21st of this year. And did everything that was required by their timeline. And yeah, so I was a little upset that, because when you do your drug test, they want you to schedule your DOT inspection on your truck, and if you're doing hotshot like me, then you got a truck and trailer. So through the whole realm of that was coming to be due again, and you got to pay that out of pocket. So it makes me laugh because the whole process, it's been stressful, and it doesn't happen overnight. Mind you guys that. So if you're looking to get on at Landstar, this is not, hey, I put an application in, you're approved, you're good to go. Some guys have said 3 weeks. I've seen guys on the Facebook Landstar BCO page even put on there it's taken them 15 to 20 weeks to get on. And there's various reasons for all that. So, anyway, I talked to somebody in corporate, and, the representatives there handled everything that I brought to them very professionally and respectfully and very empathetically. They couldn't believe that I was told to quit my job, to drive out there. I'm sitting, I'm waiting, doing all that stuff. So from there, I really didn't have any options. I'm out of money, I need money coming in, so on and so forth. So, talked to the higher ups. I'll leave their names out of this, but just know that they did a wonderful job. Talked to a couple people in upper management, and they're like, you know what, leave Wisconsin, go ahead and get down to Rockford, Illinois. That's where we want you to do your training, and from there, you'll just go Monday and Tuesday, be able to get out of the class, and through orientation, and you'll be good to go. You can start running some loads. So I'm like, all right, sweet. I'm like, super stoked. So I get there, they furnish a hotel, very nice hotel. Met up with a couple other Landstar guys that were, one was going to do flatbed, the other dry van. So we go to orientation, day one, super awesome. It's running smooth. You go over all your paperwork, Landstar's expectations. You know, in the process of all this, since they didn't qualify me, I was waiting to get my permits, my package, that they overnight you. Well, they're like, we gotta wait until this drug test clears to be able to get that to you. Well, later that afternoon, on Monday, my drug test cleared, and they sent, they're like, hey, we're overnighting it, it'll be there for you tomorrow. So, second day rolls around, and I get a phone call, and it was from the guy from upper management, and he's like, hey, so I got some good news and I got some bad news. I'm like, well, lay it on me. This has been a disaster tornado. They're like, well, the qualification department didn't do their job as far as looking into your driver profile. And they're like, we can't have you do flatbed if you haven't had exactly 6 months of driving experience doing that, which I was in a heavy haul division flatbed company previously as a company driver. So I'm like, well, I was like 5.5 months. So is there any way to waiver it? And they're like, no, this is policy. So they're like, good news is, you know, you can still, you know, be a BCO, or you're going to still do this, but you're not going to be able to go to work this week. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, our securement class, that's what you have to take since you hadn't been at that other job doing flatbed work for exactly 6 months. So by this time, I'm just like, oh my gosh, man, like, can't win for losing right now, right? So we end up talking and everything. He's like, you need to get down to Dallas, Texas. They were super gracious, gave me a hotel from the time that I drove down here. So I got out of class, ran like 3 or 4 hours, shut down for the night, got up, drove the remaining time to Dallas, got in that next day later in the afternoon, because from Illinois to Dallas, it roughly took me, with traffic and truck conditions and everything, as far as speed limits and whatnot, it took me right about 12.5 to 13 hours, somewhere in there. So yeah, I get down here, they put me up in a really nice, I'm at a Hilton hotel, very, very nice. Gave me time, because in training, what you guys are going to find too is that there are tests that you have to take within your first 15 days of becoming a BCO through your initial orientation. If you don't have those, they'll put you on hold, and then when you try to contract a load, it'll deny you. So yeah, it gave me time to get that knocked out of the way, you know, and get ready to roll. The other thing being a hotshot, you don't get Omnitracks, you get Keep Trucking. Which is nice, because the way that it's written is most guys and gals that run on these logs, there's a written rule for hotshot that we can have 24-hour personal conveyance use of our truck. So when we go home, we just have to make a note, log it and everything as personal conveyance, and we can still use our trucks as personal vehicles at that point in time to drop the trailer or take the trailer home, do whatever. So the cable, literally this is all it is. So through orientation, you'll get the cable if you're hotshot and doing the keep trucking thing. And then you get the little receiver mount box that goes on the dash. Okay. Now with those, these two little items, it was $200. And would have been $150 to have the guy in class set it up, just because that's their standard fee. Literally OBD2 connector, little pin screw, secure, lock into the main device, and then you have to wait for Landstar to get you a access code to the website. So I get down here, it doesn't come with a tablet, it doesn't come with anything like that. So I get down here to Dallas, I got some time, I drop my trailer at the Landstar yard that they have over here. They were able to get me a gooseneck lock so nobody could just hook up to that trailer and take off. That way I could still use my truck and get around town without dragging a trailer. Went to AT&T. That was another nightmare. Got a tablet, you know, put it under the business name, They shipped it out, and I'm watching the UPS tracking. I'm like, okay, it should be here today. Sweet. Wake up the next day, look at it, and it says it stopped in transit by the sender. So I'm like, what the hell? So then I have to go down to AT&T, and I guess there's some global fraud department that we had to talk to. And the lady there was very, very misinformed. She was stating that she had no way to verify my business, that the only way to verify it is if I had a website. To me, I was like, a website? That doesn't make any damn sense, you know? Doesn't make any sense at all. And so I was like, nah, I need to talk to your manager, because my fiance formerly worked at T-Mobile and dealt with a lot of you know, loyalty type of stuff or customer service stuff. So she knew kind of the process that typical, you know, carriers go through. So talked with her and sent her a text, let her know what was going on. She's like, yeah, talk to upper management, you know, somebody above her. So the lady put us on hold, no joke, 25, 30 minutes. The representative in the store was like, this is bogus. It's the first time I've ever heard of that. I'm like, well, I have friends that have business accounts here that don't have even EIN numbers or a website, and they have phones and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, I literally put a $200 deposit down on this tablet, and you know, it was something with wireless service, so that way it has its own, you know, own account under the business name. And I don't understand why I got stopped, and they're telling me it's over a website, and she thought it was complete, you know, BS as well. So finally, after being on hold for right around 25, 30 minutes, we get the manager. I explained to the manager why I was upset, for one. Two, now that they, you know, they didn't call to just hold the order at UPS or whatever. They literally canceled the line that I just activated, and all this other stuff. And the lady was like, oh no, like, all we needed to do is verify the business. And I'm like, well, I talked to your other representative, and when we signed this account up, they did the same thing. They went to the, you know, my business is established in Idaho, so they're able to go to the Idaho business website through the Secretary of State. They were able to pull it up there, and the lady kept saying, well, your phone number's not on here, so we can't validate it. I'm like, but you have my ID, you have a hard copy photo of my IRS EIN number for the business. Like, I don't know what more you need. Like, the, you know, address matches on my ID with the company address, so it's not like I'm, you know, there's some weird, mysterious information here. And so the lady from her management team was like, oh no, like, it's verified now, but the only thing is since the order is canceled, there's no way for us to resend it out. I'm like, well, you literally just canceled it this morning, so it's on the UPS truck. Just tell them to re-deliver it, and we'll go from there. Apparently that's not how it works at AT&T. So, you know, cut to about an hour of trying to figure this stuff out. The lady's like, well, we'll transfer you to loyalty. Ends up transferring us to freaking collections. And the representative I was dealing with there, we were using her company iPhone to make all these calls. And so she ends up hanging up and was like, I hate dealing with them. This is crazy. Like, getting transferred to the wrong department, these long wait times, this is so unprofessional. And she just kept apologizing, which obviously was not her fault in the store. So we end up working out. There's another gal here in the store in Dallas that was like, oh, well, we could just do this and say it's a product return, and it was never shipped to him, so he's not liable for it. But they were trying to add a second line onto the account, and then that would have cleared. Well, because I was such a new customer with a new EIN, they weren't allowing me, you know, to do the same deal, just a couple $100 deposit. They were wanting me to do the full freaking tablet, which was $800-900, and because it was a second line. And I'm like, nope, not fucking doing that. And so I was gonna cancel it. I seriously was going to cancel AT&T and even my personal service. Like, I just could not believe how they were handling this, right? So the lady at the store, her name, I'll give you her first name. Her name is Madison. Super awesome and very, very professional. The other gal, her name was Chastity. And between the two of them, they were able to find a store that was like 25-30 miles away that had the tablet in stock. And what they could do is somehow say that it was a product exchange. Since it was in transit, I wouldn't be liable for the $55 restock fee. And she's like, I can't get it today because the store is busy, but we'll, you know, do it tomorrow. Well, here it is today, the next day, which is, you know, there tomorrow. And I'm still waiting on the tablet. She comes in here in the next probably hour or so. She'll have it and whatnot. But yeah, the transition coming over here has just been one problem after another. I will say Landstar was super gracious. They were able to credit me about $250 for food for the time that I'm waiting to get into orientation. On top of that, they paid me 65 cents a mile to drive from Illinois down here to Dallas, Texas. So, you know, not hauling anything. I didn't burn a whole lot for fuel. So by the time I got down here, I still have, you know, about $600 in my pocket. So I was able to buy a couple more things for the truck just to get it up and going. A tablet mount, some adhesive stuff for the truck to put a power inverter and everything else in. And I apologize for the traffic in the background if you guys can hear that. But you know, other than that, Landstar, the corporate side of Landstar really cares. There's a lot of information that you're going to need to retain in 2 days. And, you know, I think if I would have went straight to work, those tests, I probably would not have got them done, and I would have got a notice or been on hold, just because with this transition being so far behind. So it's bittersweet, I guess. I'm glad that I was able to knock out all the tests. There's 4 of them. You know, no joke, it'll be about a day and a half worth of testing. You know, there's a couple other like accessory things. Pennsylvania has a spotted lanner fly permit that you have to pass their test. It's a 2-hour online test. So I knocked all that stuff out. You know, you got CSA awareness, hazmat stuff. You know, it's a lot of focus. You know, a lot of people come over here just thinking, oh, I'm just going to get in and start driving loads. Well, no. I mean, if you work for somebody, maybe. But, you know, if they own a fleet and you're just coming on as one of their drivers, but if you're coming on over here as an owner-operator, there's a lot more that you have to learn than just, oh, I'm jumping in the truck and I'm going to make money. Like, now you're the business owner. Now you're, you know, if you're qualified for over-dimensional stuff, you got to know how to file for permits. You know, my last company, they had all that lined out. I never had to really ask them for anything. It was just like, hey, when you get your BOLs, it'll be there. Now I'm having to deal with that stuff. And, you know, it's quite the process. And so it's a good educational, you know, bit. And just to stay fresh on that. A lot of hazmat, a lot of hazmat. Even if you don't haul it, they require you to get a hazmat license for their insurance purposes. Helps keep their rates really low. But orientation, I had a gal over there, her name's Kathy. Awesome instructor. They provided lunch, you know, drinks, all that stuff. And you know, the classes ran from 8 in the morning until like 4:30 at night, and an hour for lunch. But yeah, at the corporate level, totally awesome qualification though. Oh my gosh, like that is a whole nother deal, I'll tell you right now. And that's super stressful. Especially when they tell you, you know, I probably wouldn't have had a big deal with it. Maybe a little bit of a stink just being like, okay, like I got a truck and trailer payment that's, you know, coming due, but I still would have had a job. But when qualifications like, no, we need an end date, and if it's today, then we can get you in on Monday and Tuesday, blah blah blah. And then it turns out to be this huge ordeal. Like, it was just a lot of things that happened that were not in my favor. So, you know, going forward, just keep that stuff in mind, guys, that it's going to be a long process getting on with Landstar. Oh yeah, and they have some cool hats. Got a black and blue one too. You know, but they do take care of you over here. There's a card that they give you, a little tiny card, and that card has numbers for every department, whether it's comm data, you know, trying to deal with setting up your fuel card, your settlements, any of that. There's all the resources right there. It's pretty nifty. You know, compliance departments, anything, you know, you got a question, they're like, call in. When I got up here and needed a lock for the gooseneck, you know, went in there, you just took down my name, and, you know, it was like, oh, come out of your settlements or whatever in X amount of time over X amount of periods. So I'm like, all right, cool. And, you know, I'm just super thankful, you know, to be able to have this opportunity to be an owner-operator. It's been a challenge and it's been stressing, and driving my business partner and I, you know, absolutely batty. and my fiance's at home with the kids. You know, I'm now going on 2 weeks being away from the house, and I haven't made $1 of revenue other than what Landstar contributed to get me here and you know, keep me going through this next week. So you know, huge shout out to my fiance for being able to put up with all that stuff, first of all and foremost, and the backing of my business partner. A lot of this stuff, you know, if you're just getting into this and don't have a lot of money, be very smart. Start putting, I mean, honestly, a nest egg of $3,000 to $5,000 away, because if you get into a truck and the same thing happens to you, you're looking at 2 months worth of truck payments you're going to have to come up with. And you know, if you, they tell you, hey, yeah, quit your job, go ahead and come down to orientation, you're good to go, and you get down here and you don't have any money to live on, there's not, you know, a whole lot you can do. It's a whole lot of sit and wait, and you know, if you got $5, buy some ramen and bunker down, I guess. But so yeah, you know, it's been so much nicer to be past the qualification side of stuff. Today is Saturday, so Monday and Tuesday I have a 2-day securement class, and they'll kind of judge where, you know, what tier I'll be in. You know, if I supersede my knowledge or whatever, they can put me in a different tier class so I can haul over dimensional. But yeah, so that's just a quick recap of what's going on. I'm going to do some more individual videos, but yeah, if you like these videos, I will, now that things have kind of mellowed out, be posting more weekly. And so I appreciate you guys following me. Subscribe, hit that like button, do what you do, share the videos. If you know anybody looking to be an owner operator of any kind, whether it's looking to come in on at Landstar or whatever, definitely, you know, have them review this video. It's good insight. These are the type of videos that I look for on YouTube when I was starting out, just to get, you know, the feel of what the transition would look like. So yeah, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you know, you stay well and stay blessed. Thanks.